Hey, I'm Brandon, Progressive Democrat, and I wanted to talk about starving kids because I've been poor my whole life and I've been hungry. As a teenager, my parents were doing okay when I was younger, and I was just been hungry as an adult many times. I want to talk about what capitalism does to the youth, and I want to make this short and sweet.
School lunches are not going to solve the problem of child hunger at any serious level.
Holy Christ, these people just want to kill kids. They just want them to starve to death. It's going to be short.
There is no such thing as a non-living wage.
We're going to get back to that. But first, I'm going to get personal. I've been hungry a lot. To explain it, it's like you got that thing from a new Hellraiser in your stomach. Yeah, that. And just connected to like so much inside you. And it just keeps pulling at every organ, tendon, muscle. And it's like everything you do is pain. You don't, all you know is this clenching in your stomach that's just ripping everything inside you, it feels like. It sucks. And I've also went to sleep hungry. And how you do that is you dissociate. Which I've done so much. Too much. What you do there is you lay down with your in pain, hungry ass. And you focus on somewhere in your mind. Fantasy. You make the ground real. Make the gravel real. You make the grass real. You make characters. You make dialogue. You make all kinds of shit real, and you focus on it. You focus on it real hard until you can get there to, some extent. And hopefully you'll pass out. Because you're not, here anymore. Now that's just straight up happening to kids. I mean, it's how I learned to dissociate in a lot of ways, just living in poverty. And let's see the right's response to that.
Government can protect kids from the sick radical left. Shouldn't they also protect kids from hunger? Wouldn't it make sense to strengthen food stamps and have school lunch be free, since some kids are in school lunch debt? If you are a parent, school lunches are not going to solve the problem of child hunger at any serious level. If there is a problem of children actually starving, that is a child endangerment scenario to which CPS needs to be called. If you're talking about like actual child starvation, the truth is it does not take that much money to feed a child. I know I have 3 of them.
If rich people can feed their kids, why can't the poor? Bunch of lazy.
You should be feeding your child before you feed yourself. It's that simple. There's a much deeper problem at work than school lunches if kids are legitimately starving.
That's just heinous. Evil. But why would they say that? Like, you can be pro feeding hungry kids, right? Why can't they just, be like, well, yeah, we should be able to make school lunches free. Why they gotta defend starving kids? And it's pretty simple. It's a means to keep the poor in control. Because Ben Shapiro has this other comment about unlivable wages.
It tends to be that wages move in tandem with costs, generally speaking, because again, there is no such thing as a non-living wage. Nobody dies on their wage. And that is not a thing that happens inside the United States.
Yeah, there are unlivable wages. You want to know how you can get someone to work them? Make them hungry, dog. Make the kids hungry. Make people that care about hungry. There's a lot of people in this world who probably would be good, but they've become so cynical because all they do is work. Because they can't let the people they care about go hungry. Now, here's a rant from Matt, I forgot his last name, on the Joe Report about how this goes back so long. Gotta keep the poor hungry. Or the rich don't make it.
This is demonic, but this is the rationale that's been underpinning society for like hundreds of years. Like hunger is valuable to people. The hunger is valuable to the powerful. Go back to it's like the 1700s, where Joseph Townsend, a colleague of Malthus, who thought there were people were overeating and we need to do population control, said this: hunger will tame the fiercest animals. It will teach decency and civility, obedience and subjection to the most perverse. In general, it is only hunger which can spur and goad the poor on to labor. Yet our laws have said they shall never hunger. The laws it must be convinced. So like that we can't be looking for logic in this. Yes,
I'm only doing that rhetorically to deconstruct his branding as Mr. Logic.
Yes, exactly. But I'm saying like the rationale is actually very clear, which is this. Whereas hunger is not only so it says like hunger is not only peaceable, silent, unremitting pressure, but as the most natural motive to industry and labor, it calls forth the most powerful exertions. And when satisfied by the free bounty of another, lays lasting and sure foundations for goodwill and gratitude. The slave must be compelled to work, but the free man should be left to his own judgment and discretion. Should be protected in the full enjoyment of his own, be it as much or little, and punished when he invades his labor's property. So like this is just like you can't say this publicly,
yes,
but this is the actual logic that runs Western civilization.
Is that hunger, some level of hunger is useful to society, which is why, and just really quick, Brandon, it's notable that we were able to keep millions of children out of poverty and out of starvation during COVID, because we actually expanded school lunches during that time period. It did reduce hunger tangibly by multiple percentage points in this country, and we chose not to do that anymore. So to back up Matt's point, it is a choice. Shapiro just can't say that. So his attempts to sound logical there, you heard the cracks, because he's not able to say what he actually means on that front, is that a certain level of hunger and insecurity is what we need in capitalism.
Yeah, they want more of it. Like that's why like things like the child tax credit or SNAP, they expire, leading to more hunger, and they act like this is all just natural policy. No, they like the hunger. They like people being deprived of things because they don't want people fed by the state. Or public institutions like schools. They want them fed by bosses, or they want them to starve to death.
Child tax credit thing, that was a decision we made as a country and reduce child poverty. And we decided to stop doing that. That's all governments are, is just decisions us humans are making to create a society. There's not some natural way to where there's going to just have to be hungry kids. We can change that. But, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, and the like can't say, well, people need to be hungry. Sorry. How it is. Now I'm going to go to a tweet. Dan McLaughlin. Probably said that wrong. But here we go. Literally a free lunch versus working. Perpetual childhood versus responsibility. They're literally children, dog. Well, they're going to graduate. It ain't UBI we're talking about. What the hell are you on? Of course, the free lunch will always be more immediately popular with people who never ask who pays for it. Dog, we cut our military budget in half, and we still have the best military in the freaking world. I want to show y'all a clip. Probably seen it. But I want to, put a question here. Do you think this is perpetual childhood or responsibility? You decide.
All right, Matt.
It's kind of a trick question because I hate them both equally. But I guess I would say I would rather do the dishes. But I'd prefer if she just did both of the things.
Michael, to you.
Dishes, it's no question. I'm not sure in our entire marriage if I've ever done a full load of laundry. So I think I have that one.
I like it. All right, Drew.
Well, this is a trick question because I have not done anything around the house for 40 years. I've been completely useless. But it's clear that if I had to choose, it would have to be dishes, because she was just out of town for a month, and I actually called her up and said, "How do you do laundry?" So I think dishes is the only thing I know how to do.
All right, to the answers. Ben, you answered dishes. Mrs. Shapiro said, I'm not sure Ben knows how to do laundry, so I'll go with the dishes, which he does quite often. And she threw in a little thanks, hun. Matt, you answered, I hate them both, but dishes. Your wife said dishes, and she also threw in, he doesn't know how to do the laundry. Again, being thrown under the bus.
True.
Michael, you answered dishes. Your wife said neither, but if there was a gun to his head, he would choose dishes. And Drew, finally, you answered, I don't do anything but the dishes if I had to. And your wife put, again in all caps here, very forceful answer, since he doesn't know how to do laundry, as we learned when I was out of town for 7.
Dude just went from one mommy to the next. Here's my laundry. I do it. Because no one's got time around here. We're all working and doing shit all the time. You want clean clothes, do your laundry. Everyone's gonna smelling you and look at you at work, and then you're gonna know it's a dirty guy. I hope y'all have a good day. And the richest country in the world, no kid should be freaking starving. How is that debatable?